Hello everyone, my name is Brent Kromer. I'm the owner of C4F, where I help mostly online fitness coaches, but I've expanded into multiple different industries, helping people from a fractional role, from a consulting role, basically looking at high level 30,000, 10,000, 1,000, and ground level views and perspectives of their business to drive profitability. So I have a pretty wide range of companies that I work with, but if you're online, if you're selling coaching, that is my bread and butter. That is my wheelhouse. That's how I've helped hundreds of coaches become very profitable and design a business that they actually like. Today, I want to talk about a concept that is definitely costing you guys money, and that is objection handling. Objection handling requires a certain level of competence and conviction, and really just being willing to challenge people on their perspectives, on their lack of confidence, on their lack of taking action. And so a lot of that comes from, again, some internal things that I think a lot of people will screw up. And I've probably done thousands of call reviews. I mean, or at least hundreds, with thousands of hours involved with these call reviews. And I've really narrowed it down to 6 main reasons that people lose the objection handling process. So I want to break that down. I have a nice visual that I'm going to walk you guys through, and then I'm going to walk you guys through a better way to do each one, all 6. Okay. So these are the 6 biggest mistakes that I see people make when they objection handle, which is costing them sales, which is costing them money, which is costing them an unquantifiable amount of money on the back end in terms of lost referrals, lost testimonials, and all those different things. So it really is a small thing that can have a massive impact on your business and your revenue. Okay, before we get into that, go ahead and like, share, subscribe, send to a friend. If you found any of these videos helpful, it would mean the absolute world to me if you would just send it to someone who you think it could help, and maybe they'll like, share, subscribe, and send to another friend, and then you guys will make me famous. No, I'm kidding. All right, let's dive in here. All right, my friends, the 6 most common mistakes in objection handling. Okay, this is what I see over and over on all different calls in some form or another. If you guys can fix these 6 common mistakes, you will be well on your way to closing more deals, making more money, and helping people, more important than anything, helping people overcome their fears. Okay, so let's talk about it. Ignoring the objection. Okay, some people just ignore it, and they don't realize that they ignore it. They just like, shoot, I got an objection. All right, I need to handle this. And they ignore what they actually even said, right? So ignoring the objection, trying to race to the finish line and collect whatever they can and get the contract signed. So when you ignore the objection, you're just trying to race and get them closed, and people can feel that. They want to be heard, okay? And then at the bottom here, I'll walk you through what I would do, okay? So number 2, becoming defensive. Sometimes people don't handle objections well. We have to understand, guys, objections are one of the most normal things that can happen on a sales call. It is more rare than not. It's actually extremely rare that you're going to get on a call with someone who's motivated, ready to buy, has the funds, and just wants to press the buy now button and get rolling as soon as possible. That is more rare than objections. So why are we so thrown off? Why are we defensive when people give us objections? It's so normal. And when you start to look at that and when you start to expect them, it's a nice little surprise. It's a cherry on top when you don't get an objection. But when we expect it, it's like, cool, I knew that was coming. Let's go ahead and handle it. Let's clarify and let's go through the process. Okay. So becoming defensive. What does that look like? Basically, it makes the prospect hold their ground. It becomes a me versus you dichotomy. So it's like we are on opposite sides of the table. It can't be an adversarial relationship. It has to be, hey, I'm going to come around to the other side of the table. I'm going to put my arm around you, and we're going to say, hey, how do we figure this out? I know, based on our conversation, tell me if I'm wrong, it seems like this is something you really want to do. Am I off there? Okay, so why don't we put our heads together and find a solution? If it's money, let's just figure it out. Maybe we come up with a solution, maybe we don't, but let's just see what we figure out. So it becomes like, hey, I'm here to help, man. So don't become defensive immediately. Not customer service voice, but it's just like you're talking to a friend. They're dealing with an issue. It's like, cool, let's figure it out. Okay, so do not become defensive. It's very normal. Neediness. This is somehow worse than all. This is my least favorite of all 6. Okay, neediness. What does that look like? No worries, I'll probably be checking in with you daily if you need it, blah, 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 or giving unrealistic promises like, hey, you know what? I'll do whatever. I'll discount it. I'll give a money back guarantee. In fact, we don't even have to do it for the full 6 months. Let's just do it month to month. let's just do this. It's just like when you lay all that out at once, it's like, okay, this guy really is desperate for a sale. So neediness and desperation will push people away. I'm sure there's I always give relationship references, and I recognize how cheesy that is, okay? But like if you're super needy in a relationship, like the where's my hug guy, right? Like if you're that guy, it actually, when you constantly are pulling it pushes people away. They don't want to be around that. And neediness, it basically insinuates that like you're possibly not doing so well in your business, and that maybe you're not getting that great of results, or you're not that sought after. There's not a lot of demand. And so what that can do is that can actually destroy the sale. Okay, pressuring the prospect. This is the one that everyone thinks of, right? High pressure sales tactics. No one wants to be pushy. No one wants to be salesy, but they're doing it. No one wakes up and says, I'm going to go be a pushy, sleazy salesman. No one wakes up and just says that. Just like people who are bad at their job. When I was on W2, a CEO, the CEO of the company, and I were actually good friends. I actually did a podcast with him, which is a really cool moment for me way back when, if you guys really want to scroll back. We got into a conversation about people who aren't good at their job. And I chalked it up as laziness, like they just don't care. And he said something to me, and it stuck with me, obviously, for years now. He's like, I think it's less often laziness. Like no one wakes up and decides, I want to be lazy. No one wakes up and decides, I want to be bad at my job. No one wakes up and decides, I want to pressure people into sales. I want to push people to make decisions that aren't good for them. No one wakes up and decides that, but rather it's a lack of clarity and knowing what they should be doing, having the motivation and incentive to do that, right? So no one just wakes up and decides they don't want to be a good person, or they don't want to be good at their job, okay? So I doubt that you're waking up and just deciding you're going to be a terrible salesperson. But a lot of people are not recognizing these patterns, okay? Pressuring the prospect. Earlier you said you wanted to do this, and now you're saying this. I mean, which is it? What do you do? Do you want to lose weight or not? You told me, if you don't lose weight, you're gonna have a heart attack. You're gonna have a stroke. Like, come on. It's like when you're pressuring, it's like you're doing it because you don't know a better process. And that's why I'm here to show you that. So pressuring comes in a lot of different forms. That's just one example of many. Belittling their concern. No one likes to feel belittled, right? So let's talk about that. Belittling their concerns. Come on, man. You said you're an attorney. You could find the money, right? You said you have a good job. You said you work 40 hours a week. You said money wasn't going to be an issue. If they say money's an issue, take it seriously and try to understand that. If it's a lack of value where they don't want to spend the money, that means you screwed up your sales process. You screwed up your presentation. You didn't find a big enough gap. You didn't extrapolate the problem of their current and desired state. That's on you. So do not belittle their concerns. Hear them out and try to understand them, and then help them solve them. It is not up to you. Pause. Okay? Look me in the eyes. It is not up to us to solve their objections. It is up to us to help them figure out a way to overcome their objections. It's their issue that's stopping them from getting X, Y, and Z result that we supposedly bring to them. It's not our responsibility. It's our responsibility to help them overcome it. They have all the answers. We have none. Okay? So ask really good questions. And then, of course, coming over into here, generic phrases trigger sales resistance. Okay? So when we think generic phrases, it's sounding like super scripted and impersonal. So, our coaching is incredible. We've helped over 500 people. You won't find anyone better than us. You won't find anyone cheaper than us. You won't get as much value anywhere else. That person sucks. This person sucks. I'm the best, right? Super generic phrases like that trigger sales resistance, because it's like, okay, there's clearly a self-confidence issue if I'm not allowed to go think about it, which there are ways to handle that. All right, so that is the 6 most common mistakes. Obviously down here, I've got the green on how to handle those, but it is ignoring the objection, becoming defensive, being needy, pressuring them, belittling their concern, and using generic sales phrases. Oh, I didn't even show you I did show you my images. So anyway, all right, let's talk about each one. Ignoring the objection. So ignoring the objection. Instead, we should clarify the objection. You said it's too expensive. Do you mean that's more in reference to like the program and what we're offering, or more related to like kind of what's available as like far as cash? Okay. Clarify the objection. Is it this or is it that? All right. So that's if someone gives a money objection. Becoming defensive. Instead of saying, it's me versus you on opposite sides of the table, that concept. Be soft, casual. Hey, no worries at all, dude. Do you mind if I ask though, like, do you feel like the program that we laid out, do you feel like it would actually work for you? Okay, why though? Like, what gives you that confidence? You answered pretty quick. And what you're going to do here is, instead of becoming defensive, you want to get tie down and make them defend why your program is the right choice for them. And then you can proceed on with better questioning to overcome the objection and finding out what it is and then what is required to overcome it. Okay. Neediness. Yeah. I'll check in with you. I'll do whatever it takes, all those different things, right? Instead, stress test. Okay. Suppose we were able to find a plan that works, and we might not, just full transparency here. Like, it doesn't always work for everyone, but suppose we do, we put our heads together and we find a way to make the money make sense. Would that be the only thing holding you back from taking that next step? Right now, we've just isolated money, made it very casual. I stress tested, hey, is it just money or is it anything else? Right? Coming up into here, pressuring the prospect. So instead of pushing them and saying, you said you wanted to, you said you seem so serious, now you're not. Well, hey, earlier you mentioned it was finances that would hold you back. And it seems like we've been able to work out a plan that would make sense and that you seem confident in, right? Okay. But I still feel, and tell me if I'm wrong, but I feel a little bit of hesitation. And of course, I don't want to bring you in if you're not certain. Like, I don't want to bring you in under those circumstances. That's not fair. So what's coming up for you? What's on your mind here? Okay. So instead of pressuring them, it's like, hey, I'm sensing something different. This didn't line up to that. Maybe I misunderstood. So tell me if that's the case. But it seems like, so what I've done is I've taken blame. They'll typically say, no, you're not wrong. It's just this, right? And then I put a label on it. So these are all advanced sales tactics. If any of this is confusing to you, or if you want more, because listen, guys, this is a 10-minute podcast on how to help you overcome objections. Will it help you? Yes, it 100% will. Will it change your entire life? Maybe not. What will change your entire life and all your sales process is me actually coming in and custom writing these things for you and your prospects, your style of selling, which is exactly what I do, right? I fix sales teams, I fix businesses, I make them profitable, I make them effective and efficient. So while this might help, right? This is the purpose of a podcast and a quote unquote lead magnet. It's to help, but it's not going to solve all your problems. So give it a try. But if you're finding that you need more help, reach out. Don't be scared. Belittling their concern. Hey, come on, you said you could find the money. You make good money, don't you? Instead, if they're concerned, basically you need to address their concern instead of belittling it. So if they're concerned, basically instead of saying, we got you, blah, 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 clarify and just say, what's making you feel that way, right? So if it's money, it's just like, okay, hey, listen, I understand money might be an issue. Talk to me about that. So just because they're an attorney doesn't mean that they don't have money issues. They might have student loans and, maybe they have a hefty spending habit. Maybe the same way as like stay-at-home moms will sometimes pay in full and they're just like, things like that, right? So do not belittle, do not judge. Everyone's situation is different. And the only way we understand their situation is by asking good questions. All right, last but not least, generic phrases. Don't be this guy, okay? So generic phrases, sounding super scripted and impersonal. We're the best, no one else is good. Just be genuine. I mean, just be you. Be empathetic. Be more firm if you feel like it's a confidence issue or if it's a lack of taking action. Be more curious and concerned if it's spousal. Just be yourself. And I fully recognize, trust me, that is the cheesiest thing I could possibly say. But the more you that you are in these sales calls, the more intentions that are set, right? Like if you're this super weird person on sales calls and then they actually get into the coaching and you're a very different person, that causes people to cancel sometimes because like, this person's fake. Just be yourself. Be empathetic. Be serious. Be concerned. Be sad if they're in a bad situation, but then try to help them overcome it. So the more you that you are, the more deals you will close with the right process kind of infused within that. Guys, as always, I hope this helps. Like, share, subscribe, send to a friend. It would mean the absolute world to me. And if you guys want me to come in, custom write, fix your entire process, that's exactly what I do. So go ahead and hit me up on any social media. Appreciate you.